Hello and welcome to the Circle of Love and Light. We're starting a little bit late. We had some technical problems with Facebook, but we're here. So I'm delighted to be there with everyone if you waited for us. And I'm here with my partner and husband, Dr. Philip Montrose, and our co-host Lula Mora, who's just back from Colombia, right? Colombia, and we have a new co-host. I'm delighted to introduce Gretchen Comer. So we're here today and we're going to be talking about the power of healing and holistic EFT. So I want to thank you first for joining us and opening to being a source of love and light for the world. The world needs it now. This is the time. And if you feel guided to be part of it, you are one of the people who is here for that reason. So I'm very excited about that. It's an opportunity coming here to light up your life, heal, grow, and help to create a more loving world. So welcome. And before we actually start a conversation, I want to just take a moment to settle our energy. All of us have been trying to get on Facebook for 10 minutes now, so we can use a little breath of fresh air. So, and everybody can. So just, you can even close your eyes if you feel like it, and just breathe in love and light into your body and shift your focus from your head into your heart. You can even put your hand on your heart, focus it there. You can tap on your thymus gland, which is right, you can't see it, just right in here. And you're on your
above
chest.
The heart.
Right above the heart in the center of the chest. That focuses your energy there. And just bring yourself more into your body in the present moment. That's good, it feels better. So this is an area that's close to our hearts. Actually, I think for all of us, we're all healers. And we want to talk about healing as a topic because if you want to open fully to the light, which is the light who you are, really, the truth of who you are, it's important to clear anything that is not light that you can clear, where none of us are perfect, but to clear that light that starts to shine into or clear the darkness when the light starts to shine into those dark areas. And that brings in more light and more presence for each of us when we do that. And EFT is a wonderful way of doing that. Philip and I have been using EFT now for, 25 years about. It's amazing. Almost probably 18 years, quite a few years. And it's highly effective. It's simple. Anybody can learn how to use it. Of course, you can go deeper. Just learning how to use it is first step, and you can go deeper with it, which is even more powerful. But to start for today, I'd just like to ask anyone, whoever wants to start in, why you feel healing is important and your feelings about holistic EFT. Anyone?
Well, I'll start.
Okay.
Healing is essential if you're looking to waking up in this life, coming out of the slumber. Healing is part of it because there are parts of you that are hurt that need healing. And they're a resource, an access point to waking up. So some people do the energy healing like we're discussing today, the EFT tapping and other things, and other people do a lot of other modalities. There's quite a bit out there. And some people do more activity type things that might be a healing nature. But regardless of how you do it, it's essential in the path. There's no way of waking up without healing yourself. And for a while there, you just kind of live with the pain and repress it, suppress it, repress it. And at a certain point, it becomes intolerable. And then that may be the time that you decide to address it. Or you might want to get a head start and realize something's a little off and I want to look at that. So it's a way of seeing a part of you that's been hidden, that's been hurt, that's been blocked from the light. And I just remember with myself that there was just a lot of healing. And at first you wonder, you don't even know what it is because you're so numbed and covered by it that you don't even know it's there. It just comes out sort of in dysfunctional behavior, or things not really working out correctly, and you just pretend it's okay because that's the way it always is. And seemingly you don't know any other way until you start to see there's a part of you that needs love and caring and healing. And when you love and care that part of yourself, you're more whole and you're more awakened, and it's you spiritually grow.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think the point is really on a personal level that we feel better about ourselves. We feel better about our lives with healing, and we can make a bigger difference.
Absolutely. I think something that makes me like love what I do and to continue my own process, actually, because as healers, we are growing together with the people that we work are also, no? So it's a process that has helped me to light those parts, exactly, those parts that are like in the darkness, or things that I haven't actually in my subconscious mind, but they're stopping me for being happy, for living the life that I want, and actually I can see how my physical body actually responds when I have things that I haven't healed, and how
Right.
it gets actually when I heal. So it's like Philip was saying, us is feeling whole again, and loved and cared. So in my journey, because I think it's a journey too, the healing journey, because is a process that sometimes we have different amount of shapes for the core situation that we need to heal, for example, or is like getting together in that like journey of healing completely. So loving ourselves, I think, is something that brings always a healing modality, process, session. Is like actually bringing us to love ourselves and to find how beautiful and how we have a potential that we really don't know, but it's from that place.
Yeah, for sure.
From that process of healing, and it's bringing together that parts that maybe we don't know that we have actually. So it's beautiful, and in my opinion, being part of the healing process of other people, for me, is an honor. Actually, it's an honor, completely an honor.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it really is. And one of the most exciting things I think you can possibly do if you're a healer, it's like, oh, this is the greatest thing. It's just energizing and so exciting to watch people heal and grow.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I find that EFT is good, but it's like working with primary colors. Holistic EFT has so much more depth and breadth to it because it's really empowering. You feel more confident in moving through your limitations and your blocks because you're so empowered with the tools to use, knowing that it's going to be effective, knowing that it's going to be successful. And so for me, it's been really empowering to use, and I feel so much more confident in knowing that I can work through my stuff, so it's been really been powerful, not only in my own personal process, but it's been very powerful in using with my clients and just seeing the amazing breakthroughs they're having with the holistic EFT. It's a big part of my life. So,
Yeah, that's great. And I
Yeah.
think that is one of the wonderful things about it as a healer is that I always have actually felt, rather than defining myself more as a healer, it's like I'm a facilitator for a person because we can't heal anybody. and it's really the most important thing we can do is get out of the way So if we can support someone in doing a healing, and then also with EFT, we can be teaching them how they can use it themselves. We're empowering them in a way that we weren't able to do that with a lot of the healing processes that we learned before EFT. We started with, Philip and I started with a lot of spiritual healing and also hypnotherapy, different modalities like that that were a little more complex. You can't teach a person how to do inner child communication or something that easily. And sometimes we do use those still because you need to, sometimes you need to go into more depth. But when you can teach a person to clear, like just clear some of that anxiety that comes up, or fears and all kinds of things, confusion, it's really a gift.
I love what you're saying, Jane, because actually I think that's my main tool when I work with people.
Mm-hmm.
From where we start. And actually for me it's great when I see that I'm not only helping that person that day, that actually I'm teaching and giving a tool
Right.
that can be practiced like for many times. You know, it's something that actually you can work so actually deep with EFT too. And if you put that in practice frequently, you can actually start receiving some insights after the processes. So you're not only are like relieving or like releasing and clearing that emotion, actually you are like receiving already some guidance. So
right. And that's the,
amazing.
with holistic EFT, that's the part of the
Exactly.
orientation of it, is opening to guidance too, which is then that's helping a person to learn how to connect with themselves in a deeper way too.
Absolutely. And you are giving that person actually like a little map, you know, because if, for example, you're working with someone that is really anxious and is clear when he's getting anxious, you know, for example, I'm anxious when I'm driving or something like that. So you can say like, okay, what if you start doing your EFT first, you center, and then you go and face that situation. And it's like a plan. You're giving actually something that is a tool, not only when they're like feeling, is like a practice, you know. That's something that I've experienced with many people that I work with. And yes, it's lovely actually. It's a process that I use it myself too, and I can get surprised of the things that I'm like experiencing and what I'm getting after the process too, or during the process.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something that I love, that Gretchen said, you know, like the difference. I don't know like exactly the difference, like I can imagine a little bit because I learned holistic EFT. So I don't know exactly what will be a specific difference with the basic EFT. I have seen other people saying doing things differently, but I don't see, like, because I haven't been taught from that side. So for me, is that the unique way to do it? So the holistic part. So I can tell that is an amazing tool that
Right.
giving you that sensation of working completely, you know, and getting union and feel whole.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's funny when you talk about even those times when you think it's not going to work. The parts of us that are having the problems usually don't think that it's going to work, which is part of what we have to overcome to be able to even do it. I remember I often tell a story. One time, Philip and I did some kind of a presentation, and we were away from home. We were driving back, and it was kind of late at night, and I was complaining to Philip that I had a sore neck, and he said, "Oh, do a little EFT." And I remember saying very sharply, probably, "That's not going to work." You know, it's kind of like, this is a real sore neck, you know. It's late at night, you know, just kind of that kind of feeling. So I did it anyhow, and within a minute or two, my sore neck was gone. And it happens so often that way.
I'm so with you. It's like how we are like vibrating in that energy that actually we use the tools, but we are so human and we are in that part that we are not seeing. We're in the mud in a
Right,
way.
because we're wallowing around in the mud. And this is the thing, when you're in those states of fear or whatever it is, anxiety, frustration, anger, whatever it is, that part of you is disconnected from your truth. So it's not resourceful. And it is not uncommon because of that to think, well, it won't work. I don't even want to bother, kind of thing. I remember recently one of our students, he had a fear of rodents. I think rats or mice, I can't remember specifically. And so I offered to do EFT with him, and he was kind of, well, I don't know if this will work. And he had had it for like all his life practically, I think. So we did EFT 5 or 10 minutes, and it was gone. He couldn't find it anymore. And that's something people will say, I don't know what happened. I can't find it now. Where did it go? Which is really wonderful. And it didn't come back. He was an ongoing student. So I did have a chance to check with him several times, and it never came back.
Right. It might be good, a couple things, just to be a little clear on the holistic EFT, what Lulu was asking about earlier. But before we do that, just to give an overview of healing, because some people are very conversant with what we're saying. They're healers. They know about EFT and other things. Other people, this is quite new. Some people are hardly know anything about it. We're doing some podcasts, and sometimes I have a person who doesn't really know anything about any of this, how do I improve myself? And she doesn't know EFT or any energy healing, say. So a good starting place is where you want to heal, you want to become more whole, and that's sort of beginning to accept that you do have a situation you want to improve. That's a good starting point, just to say, I'm willing to try something. I want to grow. I want to accept what's going on, just to be there, and then to breathe and just be present with yourself. If you can do that, if you've stopped the resistance, even for a few moments, that's the beginning of the healing process. And maybe sometimes that's all you need. But if you do need to go further, like with the EFT, the holistic EFT, is we do this little reset process, which is comes a little bit from body talk, another modality, healing modality, where you're tapping the top of your head for integrating your left and right brain and breathing, and then tapping your heart, and then breathing, integrating into the heart, so whatever is bothering you integrates and you become whole again. And that little simple 2 tapping process with the breathing is really a good place to start for people. If you don't have the time or whatever, as a really, like, what can I do? I mean, EFT is pretty easy to learn the basics, but it's still going to take you a few minutes to learn it and practice it. But you could start with that reset process and just follow along, and you've done it with the right intention. The intention needs to be there. There needs to be a willingness and openness to at least try it.
Right. Yeah.
You don't know
what
the results.
We will be demonstrating it, by the way.
Yes.
Here,
so I just wanted to add that to put things, give a little perspective there on some of this.
Yeah. Thank you. It is really exciting. I think, looking back now, I hadn't thought before we started tonight how long it's been since we learned EFT, but it really is amazing. We were, as I mentioned, doing a lot of hypnotherapy at the time when we started doing EFT, and we actually were having really good results with hypnotherapy. And we have a spiritual approach, which is soul oriented. So it is about really reconnecting wherever something is blocked. We're reconnecting whatever that is back into our wholeness, into the truth of the soul. So that worked really well. But when we started using EFT, it was kind of like supercharging our work, because it happens so quickly. And it's not the only technique we use for that, but it is really a great one, and a lot of people use it frequently. So any other thoughts before we do the demonstration?
I was just going to say that one of the things that never ceases to amaze me about EFT, the holistic EFT, is that I could be tapping on one issue, and at the end of the session, I've noticed that it's cleared several things. You know,
Yeah.
there might be
It
multiple
will.
things
Yeah.
that go along with it, which is also, you know, a really amazing part of it too. And that the one of the things that I really enjoy are the affirmations that I know you'll demonstrate the setup affirmation, and they're full of love. I mean, it's amazing to have that level of respect for yourself, and that the affirmations are kind of organically created each time. I think that it suits the person. You're not using a script or something else. To me, that's very meaningful, and I know that the clients are really enjoy that too. So I just wanted to mention that you know, EFT is generally focused on working on one issue at a time, but don't be surprised if it clears a whole bunch of things.
Right. Yeah, and it can, things that you think could not possibly be connected. I've had situations where a client comes and it's like they have this and this, you know, and I think, well, we have to find a place to start. And you do want to focus on one specific thing. And with EFT, the more specific you can be, the better. And then by the end of the session, we'd clear that, and I ask about the other one, and that's gone too. 2 for 1. Yeah. Yeah, it's very exciting. I don't know if we even mentioned what EFT is. It's emotional freedom techniques, and it is a tapping process. So this is what we're going to demonstrate now. So what you do with the tapping, you're going to be using probably 2 fingers tapping on, and I'll show you the points for people who are not aware of them yet. You tap about 5 or 10 times lightly. You don't have to hurt yourself, just lightly. And while focusing on whatever it is that you're wanting to clear. Before we start, though, as I mentioned, you want to have one specific thing. So you might want to focus now if there's something, just one thing that's causing stress. There may be more than one thing, but just focus on one thing: stress or anxiety, confusion, overload, whatever it is. And each of us can focus, and all of us will, I'm sure we can find something. We'll focus on something, and we'll do a before and after. And this is one of the things that's really effective too, is having a comparison between where you started and where you end up. Because sometimes it's so incredible to people, they'll think, well, it couldn't have been that bad. I remember that one time remember, Philip, when we were doing a demonstration, and the person who was the facilitator or the coordinator for it was talking to us beforehand, and she was telling us how stressed she was. And so what we did with her, and what you'll want to do now, is just measure between 1 and 10 how intense whatever it is you're experiencing is. So we did that, and Philip went through the process with her, and by the time it was done, it was pretty much gone. And she said, well, couldn't have been that bad. I guess it wasn't that bad after all. And then he reminded her, do you remember it was like close to a 10 when you started? And she just kind of like went blank. I think she didn't know what to say. But our heads, our minds sometimes just can't quite compute. It's like, that doesn't make any sense that this could have happened. Yeah, it's so funny. Anyhow, so just measure between 1 and 10 where whatever it is you're experiencing is. I'm measuring mine. And then we'll start. And the affirmation that Gretchen mentioned, we'll be doing kind of a pre-process. It's a different kind of a tapping process, while repeating an affirmation 3 times. And you can vary it, any of the, like, it doesn't have to be the same each time. Maybe, Gretchen, would you mind if we go through yours with you, just so people can kind of see it as they go through it?
Sure.
Okay.
Mine actually pertains to the problems we were having earlier. I've had a lot of internet problems, and I'm dealing with a lot of frustration because I have to do a lot of things online right now, and it's been very erratic
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
problematic.
Yeah. It's right. How strong is the frustration?
Right.
I would say it's about a 7 or 8.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and I can understand. I mean, I actually didn't think to do that. I could do it for what what we experienced just trying to get on here. Um, anyhow, so what we do next, then we have it measured, is we come up with the affirmation, and it's something like, even though I have this and it's frustration, I can still love, and I can completely love. I still can love and accept myself. Some variation on that. Um, so do you want to go ahead and do the 3 of those, and I'll show people where to tap? And so you're just doing, everybody at home, you're just doing whatever your process is. So it's, even though I have this, and you're tapping on the side of your hand, the heel of your hand as you're doing it. So Gretchen, you want to just say your affirmation 3 times?
Sure. Even though part of me feels this frustration, I can completely and deeply accept myself. Even though a part of me has this frustration, I can deeply and completely love myself. Even though a part of me has this frustration, I can deeply and completely accept myself.
Wonderful, thank you. And then you start tapping, and the first one is right on the top of your head. It's called 1,000 Meeting Places. So you're tapping and focusing on whatever it is you have. Then the second one is the inside of the eyebrow. You can just be breathing while you do that. Then the side of the eye, right around where the bone is next to the eye. And you might be able to even feel, these are meridian points. You can feel there's a tender spot in each case. And then below the eye, right around where the bone is. Below the nose. Then in the crease of the chin. And by the way, you can tap with one hand or 2. I always use 2 on the where they're both sides. This is your collarbone right at the inside and kind of the lower part of the bone. You can feel that spot there. And then, like a hug, just tapping on the side of your body. And with EFT, if you miss something a little bit or even forget one, it's not the end of the world. It usually seems to work anyhow. And then we go to the reset. Taking a nice breath and tapping just very lightly. This time you're tapping with your full hand all the way across your head. You're getting both sides of the body, and then right in the area of the thymus gland here in your chest. Another nice breath. And if you're sensitive to energy, you might even feel a shift. To me, it feels like kind of a little release, like a drop energy. And then when you're done, just take a couple breaths. You're wanting the energy to settle. It's kind of reconfiguring. And then the thing that you do next is remeasure. So Gretchen, where is yours?
I would say it's gone. It just feels like not a big deal anymore. And yeah, I don't feel the frustration at all.
Wow, that's great. And when you connect in with your heart, and when the intensity of whatever the situation was has diminished, the thing that opens up is actually the truth that comes from your soul. So are there any insights, Gretchen, on that just come to mind? And it is also, it's just whatever comes to mind when you're in that place. Is that what you're trying to evoke? It's not a big deal.
Sure. I think, yeah, that I just need to be patient and know that this doesn't happen all the time, and that I don't need to have that kind of reaction, that I can, I can just be more patient and find something else to do if the internet doesn't work.
Right. Exactly.
Mm,
Anyone else? Lula, did you
me.
experience any change?
Yes, but I think I still have something there. from my I something that I'm really like experiencing right now is like stress, like emotional stress. And I can feel it like in my shoulders, you know, and here a little bit like that heaviness. So I already feeling like lighter, but I feel that there's something else there because my number was an 8. So focusing again, I can tell that went down, but like in a 6. So there's still work to do there.
And this is the thing with EFT, is that it works in rounds. So as long as you're making progress, you can do it again. And maybe, would you like to do another round, Lula?
I will love to.
Okay, Philip, did you want to mention anything about what you experienced?
Sure. I did it on being tired, which may just be part of the daytime when I normally get tired, but I thought it would be interesting just to see. And I know what I noticed is I calmed down, and when I calmed down more, was stiller, I had more energy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of something you kind of think when you're tired, there's nothing you can do about it. But if you're calmer, you actually have more energy when you're calm.
Right. And it is amazing. You can do it. It's something at some point you need rest, but you can often alter quite a few things with EFT. Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Okay, Lula. So, and the thing to do, just for everyone at home to know, when it's partially diminished, is to ask, has it changed the nature of you mentioned it was emotional stress. Has it shifted, or is it just less of the same?
You know, I'm not really sure because there are 2 words coming, that is anxiety and like emotional stress, that I think they're really close in my personal way. So what I'm sensing right now is that I can see it like with less weight. So I move to anxiety. Like I move from emotional stress, but I feel that puts that like a little bit like more responsibility, something like that. I feel that it's like now like anxiety.
So is that, what's that, a 6?
Yes, 6.
Okay, so you want to do another round?
Yes.
Okay, we can start again with the affirmation. So you can just say whatever you want, 3 different ones. So even though I have this anxiety,
I completely accept and love myself. Even though I love to close my eyes, that helps me a lot.
That's fine.
Even though a part of me feel anxious, I completely love and accept myself. Even though a part of me feels anxious, I completely love and accept myself.
Okay, and then we do the tapping again, starting at the top of the head. And sometimes you can just stay focused, but you can say this anxiety, can repeat on each point. Then the eyebrow, anxiety. Side of the eye, anxiety. Below the eye, anxiety. Below the nose, anxiety. Chin, anxiety. Collarbone, side of the body. And then nice tap on the top of the head, 1 breath. Nice nurturing breath. And then on the heart, just bringing that energy down into your heart. And people who are watching, some of you might realize also there are things called tapping scripts, which is where people say a lot of things while they're tapping on the points. We don't do that because we want to just allow the energy to settle, keep it simple, settling. And I find, and it's very effective. You don't really need the tapping scripts necessarily. And it works very well. Actually, from where EFT came from, there were no scripts at all. There was no talking at all with it. It was just tapping on certain points. So it is really effective. So Lula, where are you now with anxiety?
Wow, surprisingly and beautifully, I don't have more anxiety.
Wonderful.
Actually, what I felt is beautiful. What I felt, I felt hugged by love. Like if I were a kid and my mother hugged me and everything's gonna be okay and you feel that love and you feel nourished. That's what I felt actually. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I actually surrender, that's other word that is coming. I surrender.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And that's often what we need is just to just let go.
Exactly. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because actually in my, like, I know deeply what this situation or that this anxiety or like emotional stress is telling me, and is like really connected with the control, is that part of our ego. So in this situation that I know that is getting me my anxiety up is something that I can control and it's not in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
everything like came together and I was able to receive that hug and from that place like to say like, okay, I let go, I surrender, because
Mm-hmm.
actually is like, yeah, I relaxed my ego.
Right. I
A
think
little.
I felt that too. Did you, Gretchen, Philip, did you feel at the end of the second round? I felt that something just really let go, and maybe it was for all of us. Thank you. Yeah, and then the
You.
point then is when we do this, then it allows us to be more present and be more, I think, and several of you have mentioned this too, just to be able to love ourselves and be the lights that we are, because this is what we want to allow ourselves to blossom. And anyone want to comment on that? How you see that?
Oh, well, part of it is that I like to use the phrase like Lulu was saying, even though part of me feels whatever, anxious, stressed, fearful, etc. Because then you're immediately beginning to say, oh, well, it's just part of me. It's not all
Right.
of me.
Yeah.
So you start to heal and become aware then. And then it kind of takes you back to the part that you, quote, can control, where you're being centered in your soul and your response and being here. You can control that always. Whereas the external stuff that's creating all the disturbance, the anxiety, you can't. And you keep trying to conquer something that you can't. You keep fighting something you can't win, and you let go of that battle because you can't win. It's not your battle.
Yeah. Right.
Your battle, if you want to use that term, is just with yourself. Embracing yourself, then you've won
Mm-hmm.
the battle. You've come home. You've triumphed over your demons, your challenging emotions, and you've become calm and accepting and loving yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting. This is something uh, we learned fairly early on, many years ago, when we started working with healing and looking at it holistically. If you see, the body, emotions, mind, and spirit, and energetically, there are layers of energy surrounding us with that when you feel okay about yourself, everything else is okay too. It's just like there's this sense of okayness, and it's like, oh, sure, it's okay. Everything's fine. I feel fine about myself. Everything's fine. And it is true when we have a fear or something, anxiety, anger, frustration, whatever it is, if you ask, how do you feel about yourself when you're in that state, not like any other time, because sometimes people will say, oh, I feel fine about myself. Well, that's it at another time. When you're in that place, just notice that you just don't feel so good about yourself. And if we want to be lights for the world, we have to feel good about ourselves. We have to be able to be fully present in our bodies as ourselves. That's what we want. And then, and our light shines out to the world. It just shines out naturally because we allow ourselves to be.
Yeah, and that's the part that I love that Gretchen said about the affirmations, you know, because in my way to see it, the affirmation is at the same time the intention of doing it, you know, so it's already open, you know, the
Right.
door. So you're already like, okay, I'm gonna work on this, you know, you are being open to do something. So it's the starting point. So you are creating the route that you are going to walk.
Right.
That happens so fast that sometimes it's like, what? But yeah, and that part of saying a part of myself or a part of me, I'm so with Philip, because I actually do it with my clients, and I explain the same is because already is like bringing me consciousness that is not my whole being,
Right.
the one that is
Right.
in that emotion. So that's already bringing us like to another place, you know,
of
and we
awareness,
are
right?
exactly, and then we are like opening our heart, we are creating that affirmation. So it's a process complete there. It's so fast, and we see it like so like la la la, that we are not getting. But yeah, I see it, and I see it in myself and with people that I have facilitated the process with them, and it's amazing. It's amazing how every time it's different, actually. Every time, and then you can do it like with the same person or do it yourself, and the experience is different every time. So
Right.
it's magic in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Magic.
really is. And it's interesting. I remember one time we were in Los Angeles, actually, Philip and I were doing a presentation at the Bodhi Tree bookstore. And there was a woman, we were demonstrating EFT, and she was afraid of driving on winding roads. And I think at night. So when we started, it was pretty intense, 9 or 10, a pretty intense fear. And we did one round of tapping, and it was even worse. And it had shifted into something else. I can't remember right now what it was.
I think it was another phobia.
Yeah. Anyhow, so it was even worse, and so we were there doing the demonstration thinking, well, okay, this is another layer. So we went through it again with that, and like Lula, it was gone. Then there was nothing. So you have to realize that it is a lot of times it's like we have all these things that are stacked up together, and it might take 3 or 4 rounds even. And it's okay as long as you're noticing that something is shifting. And then in the end, even for myself, I always tap along with my clients. I'm supporting, their whatever their process is in whatever way I can. And I always end up feeling better. And I feel really great now. We started out with a little bit of anxiety and frustration because we couldn't get the Facebook Live to work. But here we are, and this has been a wonderful time together. So I'm very happy, and I do feel different after doing the process. And for me, it was like this tension. I think I had that remaining tension from how we started, and now I feel wonderful. I feel like I wish everybody in the world felt this way, because we wouldn't have all the problems we have if they did. Love yourself and love the world, love everyone. What could be better?
Absolutely. I think one of the most amazing things about the EFT, and it speaks to something you just said, and that is it takes some of the kind of daunting scariness out of it when you're getting ready to confront some of your issues, to be able to break it down into individual emotions really is taking like these little bite-sized pieces and kind of get to control how far you want to go with it too, And because of that, I think it puts the power not only back in the person that's doing the EFT, but it also has kind of a ripple effect. I always enjoy doing EFT with anybody else that's doing EFT, whether it's I'm working
Right.
with not.
Me too.
I always do, and I always feel a lot better,
Mhm.
and I kind of wonder afterwards, like, what was it that I was working on? I wasn't really
Right. Yeah, I
concentrating
wasn't
on
noticing it.
anything.
Well, and that's the
But,
thing. You can be feeling okay, but then you feel
right,
even much
even
better.
better.
Right.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I love how it brings this level of awareness. Once you start using EFT on a regular basis, it really does open you up to makes you more aware of your line of thinking, and
Yeah.
kind of starts
Yeah,
entraining
that's
your
true.
thoughts and your feelings to be more aligned with those higher frequencies of energy like love and joy. And so it brings a really gentle sense of awareness. I always describe it to people as it's just a very gentle process because you can pace yourself. There's no high demand on you. It's however much you want to take on, and breaking it down in those bite-sized pieces is really helpful. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I find also combined with what you said, keeping it peaceful, the process without having a lot of words. What I found also with tapping scripts for myself, at least, I would be feeling pretty good, and then someone would start, and then this horrible thing, and you're supposed to be tapping it. Wait a minute, I wasn't, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then you have this thing going on in your head, and you don't even want to be in your head. You want to
Yeah.
be in your body.
Yeah.
So I prefer to have people just breathe and be in their bodies while they're doing it.
Reminds me of the old Wayne and Schuster comedy script. When did you first start hating your mother? Wait a second, I wasn't talking about hating my mother. Well, when did you first start it? Oh, I'm tapping on hating my mother. I don't even know. Now I'm completely. Uh,
Right. And then we always end or kind of close with just reminding ourselves how important it is to the world just for us to be in a place like this, to be in a loving place, a joyful place, a place where we're optimistic about what's coming for us. And we all deserve it and can create it. Any other comments on that? Just creating a more loving world.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And while we're on that note, also we can imagine sending that energy, that loving, happy, uh, energized energy out for the week ahead, and just imagine. And when we're in the flow, I think having surrendered the things that we cannot change, which is such an important thing to do, regardless, because there are so many of those in the world. Just imagining that, being in that flow in the week to come.
Mm-hmm. Loving and accepting yourself.
Right. So before we go, Lula, would you like to tell people how they can find out more about you?
Okay, people can find me. I have my webpage is Lula with double O, LOOLA.com. And the
Lula
same
Mora,
Lula,
isn't it
Lula
Lula
Mora.
Mora? Yeah, lulamora.com.
Yes,
Yeah.
Lula Mora. And the same Lula Mora in Facebook or Instagram, with the same with 2 O's. And you take a look and see all the beautiful and lovely things that I can offer. And yes, I think that's the better way to say it. Because I have different services, so it's better to take a look
Find out.
instead of
Yeah.
saying so much.
Wonderful.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
And Gretchen, would you like to share?
Sure. People can find me. My website is spiraljourney.net, and my business is Spiral Journey Holistic Life Services. So we have a lot of different holistic services that we provide both online and person. And you can also find me on Facebook under Spiral Journey Holistic Life Services. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to visit my website. You can go there and download some free meditation audios right off the bat and enjoy it, and give me a shout out if you have any questions.
Thank you. Wonderful. And for us, Philip, do you want to say a few words about?
Yeah. We have a new book that just came out that's on Amazon. I don't know if it's reversed here, but the loving power of your soul. We're very private, an encapsulation of our life work. And it has a lot
Which
about
it has EFT,
EFT
many
and
things
other
in it.
healing and a lot of soul connecting ways. It's a very practical, hands-on book, easy to read. And our website, which is quite extensive on healing and coaching and purpose and other things, is gettingthrough.org, gettingthru.org/holistic. But if you do gettingthrough.org, it'll just redirect you to the /holistic part.
Right, thank you. And for the circle, you can find out more about the circle at circleofloveandlight.org. And if you decide to join as a member, which is it's not there are no obligations as a member, just a support. We also have a few gifts there for you. And thank you so much for being here and wanting to be a source of love and light for the world. There are a few things you can do to support the circle too. The first one is you can like our page at facebook.com/awakening circle, awakenings with an S circle. You can share this video with your friends, and you can invite your friends to join you in the circle next week. So we hope you'll be with us then. And everyone, have a wonderful week. Send that wonderful loving energy out to the week and know what a beautiful light you are for the world. Bye-bye for now.